Google. Let's go get them again.
Welcome back to another episode of Sampling Samples on my channel. Sampling Samples, of course, a weekend thing. We are going to be sampling from the brand of Creed, one of my favorite brands of all time. I got a little bit of my collection here, probably a quarter of it. We got some interesting pieces here. We got some gray caps. We got a lot of 4-ounce bottles. I'm an old school Creed head. We got my baby Green Valley. No, you cannot have it. It's not for sale. But today's sample is called Centaurus, now a 2024 release. Now, a reality check for the true Creed heads, right? Let's put myself into this. The true Creed heads, right? I mean the ones that are pre-Aventus. I actually don't even think my bottle of Aventus is even on here. But, right, the true heads that know about the brand, right? We all know about, this is gonna be a shock to the system, first of all, this release. Now, the Creed we know with the, you know, the lies about their history and all that. We weren't stupid. We knew, and the use of noses without us really knowing was really not a surprise to us, but we enjoyed that Creed DNA. You know, all these lies and the deceit, but it had this signature scent profile that was absolutely excellent, right? From Virgin Island Water to Green Valley to Green Ash Tweed, which I don't even think is on here. One of my favorites, Millésime Imperial. Erolfa, my super old school Erolfa bottle. Royal Oud, even Viking's not even on here, it's over there. Windsor, among others, right? There is some great Creed DNA, we'll say. And those days are over. Plain and simple. If you need me to say it to you, I'm going to say it to you now. These days are over. You know, the lies and the deceit kind of came hand in hand with the beautiful perfumery. Right? They really wanted to emphasize quality, and I think they really did put quality in their fragrances back then. Once it's sold at 10 times over, you know, new owners, right? A lot of them not really big into perfumery. It's all about cutting costs, right? Why are we spending this much when PDM is making really cheap fragrances and selling at the same price as us? Why not? So here, we surely see the trajectory of the brand. Where are they going? Well, dare I say they're going profile-less, going the PDM route, basically, with names of the fragrances, put more effort into the presentation, right? They're changing the presentation of the bottles. They were okay already. Why touch them up, right? Maybe it was cheaper. You know, they're spending more time and effort into what the new bottles colors are going to look like instead of the actual formula inside. So to you, the real fragrance Creed heads that liked the whole lies, deceit, Pierre Bourdon recipes, failed recipes apparently, but great recipes, those days are over. They've been long over. To the new heads to Creed, well, you know, to you, well, you're going to be happy with this. As Creed, which kind of shied away from darker scents. Yeah, they got a couple here and there. I think my Bois de Portugal is over here somewhere. Royal Oud, of course, is one of those. Where's my Bois de Portugal? Is it on here? I thought I brought it out. Is this it? Yes, it is. It's right in front of me. You know, those, you know, the Creed DNA was more about the fresher side of things, right? And I think Olivier, as the creative director, not the nose, really wanted things that, you know, would be summer, versatile, easy to wear, office wear, things like that. High end, right? Those were all the things, even though it lied about a lot of stuff, there was a lot of, you know, stamps on the Creed DNA that you needed to have. So they shied away from the darker scents, not saying that they didn't do any in the past, but now they're into this amber thing, the whole PDM Mancetta territory, where the brand has no identity. You blindfold me with this one. This is the one I've tested here, right? Centaurus. And I definitely would not guess Creed. And this is just a truthful fragrance reviewer that's saying, blindfold me, let me sniff this. Can I discern which brand it's from? I would have said Initio, Parfum de Marly, maybe, Clone Niche House. That's where I would be. Now, this is not going to be a bash fest of Centaurus, but it's a truthful look into the brand. Somebody that's been with the brand of Creed for a very long time. I hope some people in Creed do watch this video because I'm truthful, right? I'll tell you where, as a real fragrance head, where this brand is going in our eyes. Now, Very small demographic, right? We're a little nothing on this, but if you do care a little bit about, you know, the real perfume heads that spent boatloads of money on your product, maybe you think. But me and the little real perfume heads were just a little blip versus the PDM crowd. That's the honest truth. So now let's delve into it and see what I feel about the fragrance as far as development and all that good stuff. So can Creed step into the richer ambery scent profiles that a lot of these nouveau niche brands are doing and steal some sales from the TikTok brands of 2025? We are going to see. Now, if you're new here, welcome to the Rogue Zoe channel. My name is Mark. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Definitely delve into women's fragrances, niche, indie, designer. The great thing about this channel, if you're just tuning in, not bought and paid for. Creed has not sent me a bottle like a lot of these influencers. Not only that, but I actually got a sample. I've drained my sample. You know, I'm not here to be first. So a lot of these influencers, you take a look at their bottle, they've worn it less than me. I've worn this for 3 days. A lot of them, unboxing, or not even unboxing, showing the bottle, there's no dent into it, and they start going full-fledged review. Whoa, you haven't even worn it. Calm down. So hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, much appreciated. Merci beaucoup to my returnees, love you all. Let's talk about Creed, and we'll see where this goes in the Richter scale. It's going to get a score out of 10, so keep it tuned in because it is a sampling sample series. Let's go under the hood. Let's take a look at some stats on this one. Release date back in 2024. Nose, not published. I didn't see one yet. So they're still doing their little foggy games here in regards to noses. Now let's take a look at the note breakdown, and then I'll talk about the big notes in here. So in the up top, we have black pepper, cardamom, tobacco, and cinnamon. So again, it's going in that PDM route: tobacco, cinnamon, spices, right? In the middle, we got geranium, patchouli, jasmine, heliotrope, sandalwood. So we got lots of florals here, some woody aspects, some green aspects from the patchouli. In the back end, we have vanilla and broxin. Ooh, okay. Benzoin and Tolu balsam. So we got some vanillic action here. A lot of benzoin, vanilla, Tolu balsam. So we got some balsams, some resins with the benzoin. We'll see where that goes. Could it go ambery? Yeah, obviously it will. Now the big notes to my nose. I put in 4 tobacco, heliotrope, Tolu balsam, and vanilla. I'm gonna put 3 on the screen, but I highlighted 4. Now, let's kill this thing. I have my strip that I usually use. I'm going to not waste any of this. It is my scent of the day today. I'm actually wearing it now, but this is going to be useless now because I'm going to dip this in here. I'm going to dip this guy right in here. If you didn't know, strips, this is how they're made for. That's why there's a small end, so you can do this in little testers like this. Yes, but I am going to do this because I want to just kill it. Right, we're done. So again, I've worn this 3-4 times. There you go. And yeah, warmth, that ambery glow, right? So Centaurus starts us off right away with that cinnamon vanilla combo that's pretty popular these days. It makes me think of a sweet synthetic ambery spicy thing that reminds me of Stronger With You from Armani meets Spice Bomb that meets something PDM would have done. Already, you know, the price point's laughable, right? I'm a Creed fanboy, but I'm always gonna call it spade a spade, right? People knock me on the PDM hate and they knock me on the Creed love. Well, there you go. Price point, laughable. Now, on that little sour note, I do like these scent profiles, right? Proof's in the pudding. Right, I don't stray you away. Stronger With You, go see my reviews on the Stronger With You profile. Spice Bomb, go see my reviews on the Spice Bomb profiles. Now, I do enjoy this kind of scent profile, right? This kind of DNA. You can actually lump in Grand Soir in this. I think it's a better fragrance. Even Naxos, obviously without the lavender, of course, to give it some competition. So this isn't a new idea. So we're going to scratch that in regards to a new idea. Now back to the scent profile, you're going to get that vanillic sweetness with heavy dose of sweet cinnamon. That red cinnamon, right? The one that has a little bit of that sweet spicy genre. Now cinnamon is a primary in the spice rack in this fragrance. I didn't get much of the cardamom and the black pepper, really, they're just little bleeps on there. This is paired with a strong heliotrope note, which will give you that powdery aspect. And with heliotrope, I have to be careful. My skin loves to throw out powdery aspects with heliotrope. It almost makes the fragrances heliotropy, right? Lots of powder. And heliotrope can, kind of like iris, class up a scent in some ways, depending on how you utilize it. And for me personally, it can do that. It'll kind of give you like a Play-Doh-like vibe where, you know, iris can go in that direction as well. And I feel like it does go into that kind of quality here with the Creed. And also heliotrope, if you didn't know, like tonka bean, it gives an almond-like quality, and it does here as well. Less almond here and more of the other facets than anything. So don't think Guerlain, tonka kind of thing, like really high. No. Ooh, calm down, Tiger. Now, tonka is not listed as a note. Well, not on Fragrantica, right? They're 50-50. They may be, they're wrong 50 times out of 100. But I feel like a heavy hand of tonka bean is in this fragrance. Now, could that be because there's lots of heliotrope in here that gives off many tonka facets, including powdery and almond qualities? That could be it, yes. But I also feel a slight cherry note in this one, giving the scent that red feeling. This immediately brought me to Mancetta and how I feel red tobacco should have been. That's where this brought me immediately. Right when first day of testing, I was like, huh, this should have been like that Mancetta Red Tobacco Intense was absolutely goopy, terrible stuff. Loud, garbage tobacco-based fragrance, in my personal opinion. Obviously my opinion. This is what that should have been. Price point, all that, perfect. They don't smell alike, obviously, per se, but the idea is samesies. It should be in that kind of, that's the idea we're getting here. You're gonna get a mild, sweet tobacco leaf. And with the cherry and cinnamon, it gives you a familiar idea. The tobacco note, honestly, was a letdown for me. As you know, the marketing of this fragrance was tobacco-based. This is going to be a tobacco-based fragrance, which is interesting. But I kind of have to disagree with that, as I felt that tobacco was just a high secondary note to everything else that was already mentioned here. I really don't feel like it's the backbone of this release, but I feel like it has its presence, of course, but there's a lot going on in this release. So now what you're gonna ask is, okay, so what is this fragrance, Mark? What is the main theme? Mostly it has an ambery tone to it. It's an amber-based fragrance with balsams. Actually, the Tolu balsam that's in here, from the get-go until the end, carries Centaurus. It does. Tolu, if you didn't know, has a balsam, can give off cinnamon, vanillic vibes, floral facets, and Tolu is in full effect here, giving it familiar, warming touch. It's a primary note in this one. Also, to note, I did get a very minor piece of the geranium in this opening, giving off a mild, mentholated, minty vibe. Very minor, but she's there. Now, moving on to the mid to the dry down, there's not much more else to say, honestly, of Centaurus. The dry down of Centaurus gives you that vanillic and spicy combo that continues to thrive. And this is where I thought the tobacco would rise. It never did. I was waiting for it. It was getting creamier with time, but fairly linear in transitions. You lose minor pieces like geranium, of course, and the heliotrope drops down a few notches as well. The Tolu balsam continues to carry the scent into the end, the finish of Centaurus. There's other small pieces like the patchouli and the sandalwood that help depth, but that's, you know, that's all they do. So they're not major pieces of this fragrance review. Overall, Centaurus isn't groundbreaking. It's nothing new. Yes, it's a warm, spicy scent profile that works. Yeah, it smells good. Yeah. Comparing it to Grand Soir, also Amouage's Boundless, Xerjoff's Naxos. Those are some pretty big names in a fragrance community, among others, right? You can talk about Spice Bomb if you want to, the designer game, and other warm designers. It all makes kind of sense, right? They're all in this little bubble. It shows you how unique this one is. Once you start comparing, you know, a $400 fragrance to several others under it, or on par in regards to the price point, depending. I think this is probably the most expensive one out of all of those. I might be wrong, but it's pretty close. It's marketed as a tobacco-based scent, but it missed that mark in my opinion. I feel like it's more of its ambery glow than anything else. So now let's get into seasons, day-night versatility and performance, and then of course my final thoughts. All right, we're done with this. Seasons, fall, winter, early spring. Of course, it's a darker, ambery, spicy tobacco thing. Obviously, it's gonna be in the cooler months. Day or night, I feel like more of a cool day fragrance, but mostly night. So you can, it's fairly, let's say fairly versatile. Like these Canadian winters, you can wear something like this daily as a, I think more of a, you know, you're not going to be dressing this thing up at all. It's casual, you know, scent-wise. You can dress it up with nice jeans and a jacket and a dress shirt. I could see that. But once you start going, you know, tie, tuxedo, things like that, nah. But mostly night because it has that playful action to it, right? There's a lot of darkness and a lot of playful parts in it. Versatility, fairly average. Of course, it's going to get, you know, some restrictions to it, but fairly average as versatility. Performance, always a hot topic with creeds, right? Longevity was 6 to 8 hours with average projection. So it's right in that spot. However, in this genre, in this section, there's a lot of beast mode fragrances and a lot of people that are looking for this kind of scent DNA, right? The bros out there, they want, they want more push. They want beast mode. So it's much lighter than others in this genre. However, it ups the versatility a bit. So there's pros and cons to everything. You got a beast mode fragrance, well, maybe you can't wear it in the office. You got something that's a little lighter that people have to come closer to you. Maybe you can wear it for something. So there is some good and bad in regards to performance. Now my final thoughts on Centaurus. I'm just looking at the history of Creed right beside me here, part of it. All right, well, let's delve into this. Final thoughts are that Creed went the lazy way here to make a quick buck. Remember, this is a brand that was purchased twice in a very small amount of years. They most likely have people at the top right now that have no idea what they just purchased, and getting, you know, feedback from people in the industry and saying, this is how we should do things. We've been stuck in this kind of thing and we got to get out of this. This is what we should be doing. Look at the PDMs, look at the Initios, look at even Amouage is changing their things now. So somebody is in their ear going, this is the way we should be doing it. Forget putting money into the set profiles. Save the money there, but let's use influencers. Let's make a more attractive packaging with the money saved. It's a sellout, plain and simple, and I understand that. Forget brand identity. That's out the window now. It's for the new clientele. They are going into a new age now, Creed. So the price for what you get is definitely ridiculous, right? You're expecting something for that price point. The scent profile is okay, it's good, but not what I come to expect from the brand. Again, I kind of have to look at it as, what have you done for me lately? As a reviewer, you almost have to look at several different facets. I have to look at it just a standalone fragrance. Forget Creed, forget the logo. Just Centaurus as a fragrance standalone, okay? I gotta look at it like that. Now I gotta look at it against the competition. Price point, the competition, right? Who else is making $400 fragrances and who's making it cheaper, maybe better, right? Who is buying this kind of scent profile at the same time? I gotta look at that, right? Is someone that's buying Virgin Island water on the constant, right? That's living in a really hot climate. Is this fragrance review for them? Absolutely not. But maybe I'm helping them out. At the end of the day, if I didn't have a channel, if I wasn't a collector, this is a pass. Nothing new. It's following past trends. does not smell like a Creed. This is one of those that I'll wait several years as a collector, and someone will sell a bottle for under $200, like a partial or something. I'll snag it for the collection. The scent profile is okay. You know, it doesn't smell like garbage, but there's not too many fragrances out there that I'm like, oh, this is, I'll never wear it. This is one of those that I would wear, right? And it's gonna have an okay score because of that, right? It's not something that like is gonna collect dust. I think in my collection it would, because it's gonna get lost in the sea of what's out there, right? There's a reason why my Virgin Island water has a dent like this. It's very unique. It is something that's interesting. My Green Valley, even though the dents is smaller, I know how much I paid for this. So I get kind of, you know, I just kind of, yikes. But my Millésime Période, same thing. If we looked at my Green Irish Tweed, same thing. I've had these bottles for 10 plus years though, so keep that in mind. But at this point, you know, this scent profile, oof, they're getting away from the roots. Yeah. So comparing this one versus the high-end competition, right? Forget the Stronger With You's, the Spice Bombs. Again, it doesn't smell like them, but it's in the same family. Now we're looking at the ambery tobacco things, right? The Grand Soirs is ambery, Naxos, Boundless, among others. Versus them, that's your main gravy, right? For this kind of scent profile. Those are the popular ones in our fragrance community. Those are the ones that sell outside of the fragrance community. Kind of Boundless is probably one of the weaker ones, right? Grand Soir and Naxos are heavy hitters. This, in that collection, is a step down. It's a step down. Even comparing this to all the older Creeds, this falls flat. This is not a Creed. It does not feel like a Creed. So, in that case, I do have to give it a score out of 10, because you never know when you're going to see this fragrance again on my channel, if at all. I'll guarantee you this. I'm not in a rush to buy it. Unfortunately, it is a different side of Creed that I haven't seen before. This is the first time I've seen something like this being pushed out by them. If I had to give it a score currently, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. It's a step down for the brand. 100% it is. However, I understand the logic of it, business side of things, right? As a fragrance reviewer, you know, sometimes you want to pull in your heartstrings here. You're like, oh, what's happening to Creed, right? Forget the deceit, the lies and everything. I'm not heartbroken by that. I knew that was happening. Well, I'm not an idiot. I'm not saying that they were making fragrances in the, you know, early 1900s when there's no proof of that. However, right, like the things like the Virgin Island waters, the Green Valleys, even though discontinued, Millésime Période, Green Irish Tweed, Silver Mountain Water, among others, right? There's Viking, there's Royal Oud. There's still a lot to discover from the brand. I hope they keep those staples around. That's all that matters to me personally. If you're going to play around with the brand, you're going to start doing these kind of things. Release them, don't discontinue other things to replace them. Eventually that's going to happen. Eventually, right? After a while, your portfolio is a little too big. You're gonna have to start getting rid of the gray caps. You're gonna have to get rid of older fragrances that don't sell. That's going to happen. So at the end of the day, 6 bottles out of 10, a little higher than 5. I think it's been a while since I've given a score that low. I've been right around the 7 and 8, right? So a little different. And honestly, versus the competition, you kind of have to go, you know, 6. I think this is good as far as price point goes. Now that you heard my take, I'd love to see yours in comments below. Again, a polarizing fragrance review from me. Yes, of course, I don't come in here thinking that I'm going to be polarizing in regards to going, you know, against the grain or whatever. I still think it's a solid scent, overpriced 100%. There's better alternatives out there, especially with the scent profile, right? Of course, Grand Soir to Naxos to Boundless and all that. I believe those are actually cheaper than this one. I might be wrong. It's been a while since I bought any of those fragrances. Boundless is in my collection. I think that's the newest one in my collection. But yeah, 6 out of 10 I think is a good score around that. So I can't wait to see the comments, good or bad. And as always, a great pour fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your scent wisely. Thanks for watching YouTube. Have a good one.